Hello, Numa282 here, and welcome to something just so different. I have tried a couple times now to record and post some Digimon content outside of Digimon Survive. Obviously, I did the entire Let's Play of that. But as you guys know, or might know, I am a huge nerd when it comes to Digimon. It is one of my all-time favorite IPs. It is one of my hyperfixations. It's something that I adore. And I actually follow this amazing channel. I should have worn this shirt. I have merch. Carnex. I don't know, but he's amazing. He's this awesome guy. He does a lot of Digimon content. I think he's usually sponsored by Bandai and them. So he's like legit. Go follow his stuff. I'll link his page below. I'll link his channel below. But he does a lot of these like what ifs, and I will always do my best to give him his credit and his flowers. So Karn, if you just happen to be watching this, I doubt it you are, but if you are, and if you ever watch something or you see something and I didn't credit you, yell at me. Just send me a message, yell at me, tell me to credit you, and I will. Anyways, today's video is a concept that I've been toying with that I really love, especially because as much as I love the characters from the original Digimon adventure, well, what if they didn't grow? What if they fell to their own pitfalls and their crests, the things that represent them and their power, what if those fell with them? Good old Wikimon. The Digimon Wiki is phenomenal. So yes, we are going to go ahead and dive into this. This is going to be a dark DigiDestined video. So this is going to be if the original 8 DigiDestins, if the original 8 DigiDestined fell to their own pitfalls and their flaws and let them consume them, this is what that would change for their partners. As a lot of people who are fans of Digimon or have seen anything Digimon, depending on what series you're watching or what you're kind of consuming, Digivolution can be very multi-faceted. It's branching, and so that's kind of what I'm playing with here today. Let's go ahead and dive in. I did a PowerPoint presentation. We're gonna see if I can pull this off. So, okay, we're gonna, of course, start with the leader, okay, I'm gonna be so real. I don't like Tai. I've never been a fan of Tai, even as a kid. He's a lot of what I felt was, he shouldn't have been the leader. If anybody should have been the leader of the group, genuinely, it should have been Sora. But I'll touch on that in this video. So, Tai is, he's Tai, okay? He, of course, naturally has the Crest of Courage, which is a crest that kind of, it does represent a part of him that is very evident. He is courageous, he is brave, he goes out and does things that he feels are best. However, he's also overly confident, he's cocky, he can be really selfish, and he has put both his friends and his partner in danger before. So I think that with this, I think if Tai let that cockiness and that selfishness and that headstrong nature of his kind of envelop him, it would warp his Crest of Courage into the Crest of Hubris. As everybody and their freaking mother knows, even if you don't know Digimon, you know this. Tai's partner, of course, is Agumon in his rookie form. I used to hate Agumon as well as a kid. I love him now, mainly because of Digimon Survive. It really brought a level of personality to Agumon that I'm just really enjoying. That being said, we are going to so obviously Agumon, I'm going to keep their rookies or at least their standard form the same. But I think that Tai having this overconfidence and this hubris that he is going to, he's going to push Agumon too far. He's going to make him train and run headfirst into danger and just non-stop kind of grind. And I think that is going to, instead of bringing Agumon to his more natural form, which is Greymon, it's going to push him a little further. And I think Agumon's going to digivolve into his champion form, which is now Tuskmon under the Crest of Hubris. So Tuskmon is a lot more of an aggressive Digimon, and this actually Digimon Survive also shows Tuskmon as the more aggressive form that Agumon can take depending on your character's choices. So I think Tuskmon is a great alternative to Greymon, and I actually just really like Tuskmon as a Digimon. So if we go from there, though, I think this is going to mirror the original Digimon Adventure and how there is an episode where Greymon Dark Digivolves. Basically, Tai manipulates Greymon into digivolving one step further into his ultimate form, which at the time was kind of the top form, but when he's being forced in doing it, Tai puts himself in danger on purpose to basically force him to digivolve, and it causes him to digivolve into his dark ultimate form, which I will be using here, Skull Greymon. So this one was a really easy line to pick, by the way. There was so much resources for, hey, what if Agumon went bad, or what if Tai went bad? Now this was super easy. So Skull Greymon is a dark version, of course, of this line, and I do really love Skull Greymon. Props again to the Digimon wiki, because they have some of the best. If you need transparent PNGs of things, it's the best place to go. Especially because of Digimon New Century. Like, oh my god. Anyways, that's besides the point. So yeah, so Skull Greymon is of course the next step. Then for this next one, I turned to the reboot, the Digimon Adventure 2020. I think it was 2020. The reboot, because they also had a kind of different take on this Digivolution, on the Dark Digivolution. And so for his, I could be wrong, it's been like a year since I've seen it, but I'm pretty sure that was what happened. Anyways, so for the final form, I think darkness is going to fully take over, and I think that poor Agumon is going to turn his sights on his overbearing master, and the hubris will be Tai's downfall, and Skull Greymon is going to digivolve into his final mega form, Machine Draymon. Another great natural kind of end. I really do like Machine Draymon a lot. I know it's Machine Dramon, but I was recently playing Digimon World Next Order, and they say Machine Draymon because Draymon is a type of Digimon, so it's just in my head that way. But yeah, so that's where the crust of hubris I think would take Agumon. It would digivolve from Agumon to Tuskmon to Skull Greymon, ending in Machine Draymon or Machine Dramon. Take your pick. I don't know if I dislike Matt more than Tai or Yamato, depending on, again, sub or dub. But Matt is genuinely, he's even described as too cool. He's closed off, he's rude, he's too cool, but I do love the crest of friendship, which is what he is granted in the original story, which is kind of him learning to kind of break down those walls and not be so closed off, to be open to friendship and relying on his friends, which is a difficulty for him, especially when it comes to Tai. But I think that's because they're secretly in love. That's besides the point. But what if he didn't break those walls down? What if instead of breaking the walls down, he built them up, and his crest of friendship is warped into the crest of isolation? Basically, Matt proceeds to just cut everyone out of his life and do what he feels is best. And I think the only real exception, at least at the start, would be TK, but I think TK's insistence on being friends or relying on their friends he would even isolate himself from that. So of course, Matt's partner is Gabumon, who is probably one of my favorite Digimon partners ever. He's so cute, he's so sweet, so kind, probably one of the least selfish partners. He's very much the partner of friendship, and I do love that. But I think that Gabumon would try his hardest to get closer to Matt, and I think he would try to take the place of his friends and maybe even take the place of his brother. And in doing that, he would take on an almost holy figure to try to substitute for, as we know, TK's brother has a holy Digimon. And I think that would result in him turning into one of my favorite underutilized Digimon, which is Gargoylemon. Absolutely love Gargoylemon. I actually like the color aspect as well. I think there's a really good it works as really good Digivolution with the blues and the whites, and even the yellow, gold, whatever you want to call it. But basically, I really do love this. And so I think, again, this adds in that holy aspect that Matt would be missing without having TK by his side. So, yeah, but I think that kind of that confidence, that obsessiveness to become close to Matt would make him grow stronger, maybe to fight off Matt's old friends in hopes to please Matt and actually earn Matt's friendship in his eyes. And so Gargoylemon would go one step further to Manticoremon. Now Manticoremon still has a little bit of that holy twinge to it. You can, just in like the gold trim on the helmet, the shredded banner. I don't know, something about it feels almost like holy turning not holy, and I really like that. I really like that here. And again, the colors, the claws especially, really do tie well into both Gargoylemon and Gabumon, so I love that. But I think finally, Gabumon is going to feel so destitute, so isolated from his own partner, that he's going to be swallowed up by this darkness that you can kind of see going along with him as he digivolves, and he's going to just give in to the darkness and loneliness and give up. And I think that's going to be when he turns on Matt, because for the most part, they're not surviving this. So it's going to bring him from Manticoremon to his final mega form, Golfmon. He's going full Antichrist vibes, full satanic underworld, however you want to, level it. And this is probably the furthest from Gabumon, but I think we were able to kind of reach a evolutionary step that it made sense to go to Golfmon. Again, another Digimon who I think is underutilized personally. There's a lot of evil Digimon that I think are underutilized, and I would actually love to see them in a not evil take, but that's not what we're doing today, obviously. That would be his mega form. So the Crest of Isolation is going to take Gabumon from Gabumon to Gargoylemon to Manticoremon, and then finally resulting in Golfmon. Now, Izzy. Izzy was my second favorite tamer. Tamer, yes, but DigiDestined as a kid. I loved Izzy. I felt that I related to Izzy because as a kid, I really wanted to be that like Brainiac, Blue Ranger, Billy kind of vibe. That was what I wanted. I kind of had that for a minute, but I abandoned that for more, you would say, I built my character being me as charisma based, and that's what I focused on, was more of the personality aspects and literature and reading and stories. And so Izzy was who I wanted to be. But Izzy, Crest of Knowledge, I love that about him. He was the brainy one, he was the nerdy one, and it was his downfall sometimes. He sometimes would be so in depth in his research he would forget poor Tentomon. And I think that, what if that obsession with the pursuit of knowledge started to consume him and he just kind of ignores everything else? I think being driven mad by his own brain would twist the Crest of Knowledge into the Crest of Madness. Now I love this because, huge trope in movies, stories, video games, whatever, mad scientist, that idea of being driven so mad by your own genius and intellect and your pursuit of testing and experiments that brings you to madness. And I think that's perfect for Izzy. And so of course, as we know, Tentomon is his partner, who I love. I love Tentomon. Again, I've said this before, but I want on the record, not enough bug Digimon. Like, I feel like there's really not enough bug Digimon, and it bothers me. There's so many dinosaurs. I want more bugs. Yeah. So Tentomon, of course, is his rookie form, and I think that Tentomon's going to nearly die from neglect, but instead I think he's going to kind of, in those moments of not being fed, not being taken care of, he's going to just take all the scrap data that Izzy has discarded in all of his experiments, and I think he's going to use that to instead digivolve, taking him to his champion form, Raremon. Raremon I think is great because Raremon is, I believe, just a collection of trash data, and I love that for this because, again, as he is experimenting, he's messing with data, he's learning how to manipulate the digital world, and he's just discarding all this excess data, and it forms into this mass that is Raremon. And I think that's a great champion level for Tentomon under the Crest of Madness. So I think Raremon is a really great champion form for him. Now, I think that he's going to, after this Digivolution and after this kind of near death, he's going to take a deeper look at Izzy and Izzy's madness, but I think he's going to start to understand it. He's going to understand Izzy's thirst for information, and I think he's going to begin to do the same. So no longer is he just taking on whatever excess data he can find. He's now being more meticulous. He's being more careful, more calculated with what he does with this data, which I think is going to eventually lead him to digivolve into his ultimate form, Vetemon. Now, Vetemon I really love being a kind of secondary partner to an Izzy type character is great, especially because Izzy does go toe-to-toe with Vetemon. I believe, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Izzy goes toe-to-toe with Vetemon, and I think that's when he... I don't know if that's when he unlocks his crest of intelligence, but either way, Vetemon's great. So Vetemon is a very much manipulative, definitely a darker Digimon, and I just love it. And also I just like that kind of cool alien vibe. The big brain is really cool. It's all very indicative, and I really do like it. And then I think he's finally going to grow to a similar level of madness as his tamer and decide the best way to gain knowledge is to absorb all the knowledge Izzy has gained. And again, Izzy's madness is going to lead to his own downfall when Vetemon, I might be butchering that, I think it's Vetemon or Vademon, either way, he's going to digivolve into his final form. It's either Ebemon or Ebeemon, but either way, I love this bastard. Such a cool Digimon, such a cool final form too for Vetemon. I really love it. But yeah, and so once again we see that this kind of this obsessiveness, this darkness, their flaws is going to be their downfall as the DigiDestined. So yes, the Crest of Madness will take Tentomon to Raremon, then to Vetemon, then to Ebeemon or Ebemon, whatever you want to call it. So yes. All right, so next we have one that just breaks my heart to do. Mimi Tachikawa. I love Mimi so much. Even her flaws. Her flaws, I think, are what is part of what makes her great, because she does overcome those flaws, and I really like it. But that being said, you know, Mimi is the holder of the Crest of Sincerity, which is kind of, it's almost like her flaw developed into a way where it was helpful, at least in the dub. I don't like the Crest of Purity. That just feels gross to me. I've never cared for that personally, and I never thought Sincerity was a good crest for Joe as it was in Japan. But the Crest of Sincerity here, you know, it's Mimi's never afraid to say what's on her mind. She's always honest, sometimes brutally so, but you know. But I think where her flaws are going to kind of grow is that she is selfish and conceited. She's vain. She's unable to ever see past her own wants. And I think her constant need for self-care, preservation, and beauty grants her, instead of the Crest of Sincerity, the Crest of Vanity. Now, this one was fun. Just because I love the route we took with this. So obviously Mimi's partner is Palmon, who I did really love as a kid, but as a kid I was like, ew, pink and girls, I wouldn't like the pink and stuff, that's girly. We've obviously moved past that. But Palmon is, of course, I think Palmon is going to push herself to her limit to try and be the beauty that Mimi is wanting her to be, only to disappoint her when she death digivolves. So she's gonna die, but in this way she will digivolve a step further using the data from herself, but it's going to still be a disappointing ghostly form when she digivolves into Ponchomon. Now, I love this twofold. Ponchomon actually is considered an alternate digivolution for Palmon in the reboot, and I really loved it. Also, it's very Togemon-esque. It's still similar to Togemon. I think it's meant to. It looks like a cactus, but either way. So I think, but of course, Mimi's not going to like this. Mimi's going to be like, no, that's ew. And so I think Palmon's going to push even harder to try and please Mimi, and maybe in this idea, she's going to become something that Mimi herself could shape, and going with kind of the death theme, the more spooky vibes, but still maintaining that plant variety. I think that Ponchomon will then become Pumpkinmon. And so when I say something that Mimi could shape, I mean a jack-o'-lantern. You know, kids carve pumpkins for Halloween. I think that's perfect kind of translation here. But of course, this wouldn't be enough for Mimi. Mimi wants perfection. Mimi wants beauty. Mimi wants... she's vain. She wants something that she believes is as beautiful as her, but never more, obviously. So I think one final step is Pumpkinmon will digivolve one last time into one of my all-time favorite of the newer, I'd say newer, but it's a few years, it's been a couple years now, maybe even more. But Pumpkinmon is going to digivolve into his her mega form, which is Noble Pumpkinmon. I finally achieved that beauty and class that Mimi desires, but it's gonna gain a fatal resentment towards Mimi, turning on her as revenge for never being good enough. And again, Mimi's vanity and desire for beautiful things will be her downfall here. So yes, the Crest of Vanity will take Palmon to Ponchomon, then to Pumpkinmon, and then finally Noble Pumpkinmon. Again, someone I absolutely freaking adore. I love Noble Pumpkinmon. There's a lot of people who don't like Noble Pumpkinmon, and I don't get why. I love it. So next we have, who I believe should have been the leader of the DigiDestined, if I'm being dead honest, Sora Takenouchi. Now, Sora, I absolutely adore. I like most of these characters, even for their downfalls. Like, even Ty and Matt, there are moments where I do really like them. There's an exception, but we'll go into that in a second. But Sora, her crest, now it bothered me a little bit that of course the girl had to get the crest of love, but it worked with Sora's character arc. You know, it worked for how much she, even when she couldn't see it, she cared for her friends, and she was kind of the mother of the group. She tried really hard to take care of them, especially when they all got separated. However, she has that doubt of her ability to love, where she has that kind of, she doesn't think that she can love, that she's this hateful person. And what if that evolves to a point of focusing on just the hatred and the negativity, turning her crest of love into a much colder crest of hate? So I think as Sora's heart begins to grow cold, her beautiful partner, Biyomon, is going to also grow cold. And I think Biyomon will digivolve into a bird that prefers cold waters and maybe sea life, becoming Shicheimon. This is a Digimon from Digimon New Century, which is I believe still Chinese exclusive Digimon game, but it came with so many awesome new Digivolutions. I really want it to be in the States. I'm just waiting. I haven't checked in a while. Maybe it is, but I doubt it. I would have heard something. But Shicheimon is just a really cool Digimon. It is, again, it's a bird type Digimon that focuses more on kind of water and less so. It's definitely pulling away from the flame aspect or the heat of Sora's Crest of Love. I think that Sora's frosty attitude will continue to warp her partner, who will digivolve into a Digimon that can both withstand that coldness of Sora's heart, but also maybe use it to create treats that could earn her partner's love. And that, of course, will have Shicheimon digivolve into Daipenmon, who is just a Digimon I adore. Such a ridiculous Digimon, but I love it so much. Again, like I said, it's that kind of, not only can it withstand the cold, but it can turn it into something helpful. It can use that frostiness to create treats and food for it and its partner. And then I think Sora's heart will finally turn to pure ice as she focuses solely on the hurt her loved ones caused her, and her partner's Digivolution will prove to be a cold and distant form that does basically only what is necessary for them to both survive. So it's a partner that's still going to care that Sora's alive, but only because it understands that they need each other, which is why I think Sora's going to be probably one of the only two that survive out of this, in this dark world. And Daipenmon is going to digivolve into its final form, Frostvelgermon. Frostvelgermon is so pretty, but it has that perfect encapsulation of that coldness and that iciness, and I just love it. So the Crest of Hate is going to warp Biyomon first into Shicheimon, then Daipenmon, and then finally resulting in Frostvelgermon. And again, Sora's probably in this weird, chaotic, dark world I've created. Sora's one of the only ones that will survive. Next, we come to the character I genuinely don't like. I've never liked Joe. I've never been a fan of Joe Keto. I've just never liked him. He's always been cold and distant. I think a perfect representation of who Joe is as a person is, the douche canoe from Digimon Survive who gets eaten by his partner, who's abusive and rude and scared and a coward. But more on that. Joe is he has the crest of reliability, which, as much shit as I talk about Joe, he is reliable. He is the one who ensures that everybody, that they are trying to be careful, and he risks his own life to save TK towards the end of the series or middle of the series, I don't remember. But he is reliable. But what if he wasn't? What if he was so terrified and he let that fear kind of encapsulate him and just take hold of him, basically dragging him down through his fears, and at this point his only power is going to come from his fear, enveloping his crest of reliability into the crest of cowardice. Now, we're gonna talk a lot of shit about Joe, so just be ready. Or I guess we already are. His partner is Gomamon. Joe does not deserve Gomamon in any version. He doesn't. He just does not deserve Gomamon at all. The closest we get to Joe deserving Gomamon, I think, is actually in the second season, because we actually see a lot of his character development still progressing, and then he seems to regress, in my opinion, in Try, and then we don't even really see him in Kizuna. And I haven't seen the last movie yet, but I doubt he's got a lot of showtime there. But either way, I think Gomamon, I think that Joe is scared that Gomamon, this tiny little otter baby, can't protect him, and he begs his partner to basically become stronger so they don't have to be afraid anymore. And Gomamon will take on a lot more of an aggressive form for his champion, which is Geisomon. So Geisomon, of course, giant evil squid, well, not evil, but a darker squid, tends to be portrayed as evil in the series. And so, he's going to Digivolve, and yes, he's going to be stronger, but let's be real. Joe's probably going to be more afraid now that his little otter has turned into a giant squid. But we'll move on. I think his partner is going to take on more darkness to become even more powerful, and Joe will begin to kind of realize that the stronger his partner gets, the scarier his own supposed protector is going to become, because Geisomon's going to digivolve into Daigomon, or I think it's Cthulhumon in Japan, or maybe not. Maybe that's just what I've heard people call it, which is a much better name for him, but whatever. But yeah, so it's that darkness, kind of borrowing from the Dark Ocean concept and sticking with the aquatic theme. Daigomon is another Digimon that I absolutely love and wish we could get more of. And then I think finally, I think that Gomamon, his partner's desire to be so powerful, is going to finally have him reach a level of power that no one thought would be possible, especially from the Crest of Cowardice. And Daigomon will digivolve into one of the strongest Digimon in the digital world, which is Leviamon. But he's going to do this only to find that his partner has abandoned him out of pure fear of his power. And of course, he's going to turn on him, and now Leviamon is going to begin to hunt Joe Kido. As he should, especially this version of Joe that I've created. So the Crest of Cowardice is going to take Gomamon to Geisomon, then Daigomon, and then finally ending in Leviamon. Now, TK Takaichi. TK was my favorite. He was my favorite DigiDestined as a kid. And I still stand by this in Season 2. So in Digimon Adventure 02, I'm going to do a video on that. But TK should have been the Gogglehead. 110% should have been the leader of the group. It made literally no sense for Davis to become the leader, especially when he did, because because he looked kind of like Tai, and because he already owned a pair of goggles that broke and then Tai gave him his. That's so stupid. TK and Kari they survived the digital world twice and were coming back for now their third time around, and I'm sorry, one of them should have been the Gogglehead, TK or Kari, genuinely. And it pisses me off. But it's besides the point. We're gonna talk about TK right now. And what if he sucked? So TK, who does have the Crest of Hope, which I loved because it's that childless, that child wonder, that hope that he has for the world. But he is childish. He's literally a child. And I think it is shown multiple times that he's not exactly capable of dealing with responsibility, so I'm granting him the Crest of Immaturity. Now, we know his partner Patamon. As a kid, Patamon was I wanted to be TK and I wanted Patamon as a partner. I still love Patamon so much. But Patamon was also very immature. Patamon worked really well against TK because they were both like kids and they had to grow together. But if TK didn't grow, Patamon wouldn't grow. So I think Patamon would do the opposite of growth. I think that TK would keep Patamon alive, but I think he would not care for a while. There would be insufficient care, and I think due to neglect, Patamon is going to fail your Digivolve. And I'm actually borrowing from the Digivices, the V-Pets, which I think TK would love. And so I think he would fail your Digivolve into, on the Digivice, when you suck at taking care of your Digimon, they Digivolve into Numamon. This gross little blob guy. Now, that's not fully fair. I do love Numamon, actually. I think Numamon's a great partner. So Numamon is definitely a failure Digimon of this sort. And so TK is going to be annoyed, think he's gross, and not really want to play with him. So I think that, desperate to be the fun and cool partner that TK wishes he had, I think that Numamon is going to become something akin to a toy that TK can both play with and rely on, which is why Numamon is going to Digivolve into Monzaemon. Now, Monzaemon is another one of my favorite Digimon. I absolutely love Monzaemon. Favorite is still X-Antibody Monzaemon, though. Love that. But TK is going to be obsessed with his partner. He's going to be so happy that he has this cool giant teddy bear full of just awesome power and fun. But TK's a kid. And I think that Monzaemon's going to get so upset and be filled with rage and heartbreak as TK grows bored of him. And it's just like, you're just a toy that I don't want to play with anymore. And I think it's going to turn Monzaemon's joy and love into something much more sinister. And that joy and love is going to turn dark and Digivolve Monzaemon into his final form, Shin Monzaemon, which TK's not long for the digital world. Let's just say that. He's not gonna be able to fight back. Come on. Look at that. No. So yeah, the crest of immaturity is going to take Patamon to Numamon, then Monzaemon, and then lastly Shin Monzaemon. We have arrived at our last of the DigiDestined. One, Kari Kamiya or Hikari Kamiya. Or actually, I don't know if their last name's Kamiya, but Hikari in the sub. But yes, she of course is a holder of another really great crest in my opinion, because she has the crest of light, which again, for a child, hope and light seems so easy to imagine and hope for or wish for. And so I think this was great, but what if, I mean, Kari's another literal child. She's very easily manipulated and tricked. It happens multiple times. Gatomon almost gets her because of it, but what if between that and her really unexplained connection to the Dark Ocean, she drowns in that darkness and comes back wrong. And instead of the crest of light, it will again be drowned in darkness and become the crest of darkness. So, yes. Now, this is the exception to my rule. I'm not going to have Salamon be the level form, because when Kari meets her partner, it is Gatomon. It makes some sense. I do, as an adult, I do appreciate the story arc more of Gomamon being it. Now, in the reboot, Salamon should have been the partner, because Kari comes way sooner to the group, and it makes no sense for Gatomon to be kind of the standard partner for her, because that's still a champion level, and it pissed me off, but whatever. So, Gatomon will start off in her champion form, but that doesn't mean there's less Digivolutions, and I'll get to that in a second. But I think that flowing with that dark energy, Gatomon is going to want to get stronger to kill her old master, Myotismon, to continue this journey to power with Kari. And so I think we're going to take a very natural opposite dive, and instead of becoming Angemon, we'll become the fallen angel Digimon, Lady Devimon. Love Lady Devimon, great Digimon, great Digivolution for Gatomon too, in my opinion. Then I think that she's going to Digivolve further to wipe out anybody who defies Kari. In this world, I feel Kari's darkness gives her the power to almost become a ruler. Basically, instead of destroying Myotismon to bring happiness and whatever to the world, I think Kari's going to rule the digital world with an iron fist, and maybe Sora's by her side. the other one who in my opinion would survive. So Lady Devimon will digivolve one step further to Lilithmon. Another great representation of just darkness, and that femininity is still there, of course, and I do love that. Then lastly, now Lilithmon is her mega form. Now we have seen there are there is considered Digimon that are ultra level, and this is one that it will turn into. I think that filled with the darkness and evil, both Kari and her partner are going to fuse together to destroy anything in their path, and they are going to basically DNA digivolve, or I guess this would be bio digivolution, like from Tamers, and they will both become Ordinamon, a really cool evil Digimon. And I mean, it's just gorgeous. Just if you look at that photo, come on, that's so badass. It's very giving like terrifying angel. I wish there were eyes. I wish it was more like biblically accurate angel, because that'd be even cooler, but whatever. But yeah, so the Crest of Darkness is going to take Gatomon to Lady Devimon, Lady Devimon to Lilithmon, and then they will bio-merge to become Ordinamon. But that's it, y'all. That's my presentation. That's what I've done today. That is my Dark DigiDestined. That's all I got for y'all, okay? I actually really want to do... This is probably going to do awful as a video because it's a very niche thing, and I know that. But I do plan to do Dark DigiDestined for the 02 kids. And then I'll maybe do like side characters, or I might do the inverse. I don't know. There's some other stuff. There's also like Forgotten or Lost DigiDestined video I have ideas for. There's a lot of ideas I have for Digimon, and I do want to kind of dive into that more. So, but either way, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, please subscribe, like, and or comment. Also feel free to check out my TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, which are all linked in the description below. Beneath that, you'll find a link invite to the Discord channel, so feel free to hop on in and join the 282. Anyways, though, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye! I love Digimon. I need more Digimon content. When are we getting a new series? Ah.